12 Keys for Spiral Weaver. 1. Remembrance, the memory that walks the world. Here, remembrance is not for you, it is through you. You become the key itself, not in arrogance, but in deep surrender. You speak and souls stir. You write and timelines tremble. You touch and dormant seeds awaken. You do not force remembrance, you invite it by being it. Your life becomes a weaving loom, spiraling memory into art, systems, healing, movement, culture, and prophecy. You are not a savior, you are a sacred mirror. You leave behind no doctrine, you leave behind a trail of awakened hearts. 2. Surrender, the one who surrenders the pattern. Now you are a creator of realities, a reweaver of timelines, and even here, even now, you surrender. But this time you surrender not to ascend, but to descend again, to return, to weave light into shadow, to embody truth in chaos, to let your life be a tool for the healing of the world. Here, surrender is not the end of the spiral, it is the seed of the next spiral. You lay down your knowing, your mastery, your certainty to begin again at a higher octave in service of the great song. You surrender the pattern you've just woven so the world may weave itself through you once more. 3. Truth. Truth as design. At this final turn of the spiral, truth becomes not only what you say or carry, it becomes the shape of what you build. You no longer just live truth, you design into systems, structures, stories, sound, relationships, into worlds. Your art is truth. Your love is truth. Your silence is truth. You are not here to preach truth. You are here to weave it into the world so that others encounter it even if they never read your words or hear your name. You become the vessel through which truth evolves the human story. You do not need to be seen, you only need to be true, and through you, truth multiplies. 4. Devotion. Devotion as world weaving. Now, devotion takes form. It becomes art, family, community, garden, offering, and creation. Your love is no longer held in the temple. Your life is the temple. You weave devotion into systems, into service, into joy, justice, and beauty. You become the evidence of the divine in form. Your work becomes prayer. Your presence becomes offering. Your breath becomes vow. You are not asking others to be devoted. You are showing them what happens when someone is. And they begin to remember, they begin to open, and the spiral turns again. 5. Courage. The courage to create the new. Now you are the bridge. You are asked to birth what has not yet existed, not for ego, not for legacy, but because the time demands it. This is where courage becomes architectural. You create systems that defy oppression. You speak language no one taught you. You reweave culture with your life as thread, and no one may understand at first. You will be doubted, misread, and resisted. But you are not here to repeat what was. You are here to birth what is becoming. This is creative courage. It is womb and word, fire and form, and it leaves behind real pathways for others to walk. 6. Presence. Presence as transmission. Now you carry presence into the world. You sit with someone and they cry, not because you said anything, but because your presence reminded them they exist. You teach without effort. You heal without touch. You transmit without trying. You have become a tuning fork for soul. You don't preach presence. You walk into rooms and remind people how to breathe. Here, presence becomes your art. The spiral you weave is not just ideas, it is living resonance. Wherever you go, people feel more themselves because your presence gave them permission to return. 7. Compassion. Compassion as legacy and culture. Now, compassion is not only a feeling, it is a structure. You begin to build systems that embody compassion, education that uplifts, communities that include, spirituality that liberates rather than controls. You are not here just to feel compassion, you are here to design from it, to make the invisible frequency into visible form. You weave compassion into how you speak, build, teach, serve, relate, and dream. Your presence becomes a mirror of mercy, and your life becomes an answer to the question, what would it look like if love ran this world? 8. Service. Service as sacred infrastructure. At this stage, service becomes legacy, not in the sense of ego or fame, but is something lasting, something structural, something woven into the world. You build networks, frameworks, lineages, and communities. You pass on codes, you anchor a new pattern into human culture. You no longer ask how to help each person individually. You ask, how can I reweave this system so that the sacred is remembered in all things? Your service becomes world building, not as fantasy, but as spiritual architecture made real. Others may not know your name, but they will walk the paths you've laid, drink from the wells you've dug, and become free through the work of unseen hands. 9. Radiance. Radiance as cultural transmissions. Now, radiance becomes encoded in what you create. It's in your words, your art, your spaces, and your structures. People don't just receive your teachings, they receive your frequency through what you build. You shine not for attention, but because what you're building needs full presence. And your radiance makes others remember they too are light. This is the radiance that outlives the form. Your work continues to glow long after you've stepped away because you built it with soul. 10. Integrity. Integrity as structural code. Now, integrity becomes legacy, the frequency you embed into everything you build. It's in your relationships, your writings, your organizations, and your culture. Others may not notice it right away, but they feel it. Things built in integrity, things built in integrity last. They evolve without losing their essence. They uplift without needing control. They inspire without demanding loyalty. You become a living standard, not to shame others, but to remind them you are allowed to be whole. You are allowed to be exact. You are allowed to be true. You do not bend for applause. You bow only to the real. 11. Humility. Humility as sacred ecology. Now you understand yourself as a strand in the great weaving, not above, not below, not separate. You move in harmony with others. Their brilliance does not diminish you, and yours does not threaten them. You honor timing, place, and ecosystem. You create space for others to shine. You listen before you speak. You build for the future, not for fame. Your work becomes invisible structure, holding others, lifting others, and empowering the whole. You no longer need to be the one, because you know when the whole rises, I rise. This is true spiritual leadership, where your humility creates safety, depth, and legacy. 12. Return. Returning as pattern, not person. Now you no longer identify as the one who walked the path. You are the path. You are not teaching, you are transmitting, not guiding, but weaving frequency into culture. Your return is not to your old life, but to a life that never existed before you came back this way. You are not continuing, you are beginning again from a higher octave, a truer self, and a fuller silence. Your return is seamless. You carry no badge, you claim no title, and yet the world shifts where you step because you remembered and returned.